This is the Andres Segovia Show.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Andres Segovia Show. I'm your host, Andres Segovia. On today's episode of the program, I'm going to give you the lowdown on what is the status of the show, because there's a lot of things that have been going on, and some of you are subscribers on the video channels of my show, and there's others of you that are only audio version subscribers through the podcast. So I try to be everywhere, and I do have an audience throughout the world, so that's pretty cool. Thank you very much. But you're probably not getting the full experience, and the show has been known to evolve from time to time. That's why I do these episodes, to explain to you what's the latest going on with the program, because the podcast is like the wider range, because I publish this also to the video platforms, and hopefully you're tuning in, because I've been doing a lot more live streaming lately. I've probably done at least 60 hours of live streaming over the past 2-3 months, and that's considerably more than I've ever done in my entire life. And I did want to do live streaming before. The intent of my show was to eventually be a live show on YouTube, and I will explain here in a bit as to why that never materialized. And for some of you, this might sound familiar, and it has a lot to do with the draconian measures that YouTube takes, but I'll get to that in a moment. When it comes to you podcast listeners, I recommend that you go to www.andressegovia.com. If you're not already on YouTube, you can find all the other video platforms that I am currently streaming to. So that would be like Twitch, DLive, Kick. These are probably ones that you heard of, but those episodes don't stay up. So after a little bit, those episodes will disappear. If you want to see like the archive of these, the best places to experience that would be Rumble, YouTube, and the entire backup library that would include Odyssey, BitChute, and Gangjin World. Because you never know. I'm trying to make myself uncancelable, because if one goes down, the other ones are around. With the whole live streaming thing and just the opportunity to partner with Rumble, and it was hilarious because I wasn't posting to YouTube. Suddenly YouTube was taking off again. It's like, no, come back. Like, what? I just thought that was really funny. But what ended up happening towards the end of the Rumble partnership was I was able to land in a world exclusive coverage of the Unplugged phone. And I've covered that ad nauseum. I'm not going to go into all the details on this one. I wish other techies got on top of this, and they didn't. And I had an opportunity to do this, and I promised nobody anything because I wanted to be as objective as possible. But the Unplugged was kind enough to send me the phone, and the rest, as they say, is history. However, censorship abounds, and the experience was no different when it came to YouTube and the Unplugged phone, because YouTube belongs to Google, Google belongs to Alphabet, and things like that. I've talked about this on different live streams, and for those of you in the podcast, you probably didn't hear those live streams because they didn't make it to the audio version of things. This is why I'm encouraging you to pick a video streaming platform. I prefer that all of you go to Rumble. I'm not just saying that because Rumble is the best, and honestly, they're not, but they're trying to be, which is why I really respect them. Right now, Rumble is the go-to place. It's the hottest thing on the market because content creators finally feel some sense of freedom to be themselves. However, for those of you that are concerned about privacy, just know that Rumble is like any other tech company. They need to know how they're able to target their ads towards you. So of course they're going to be monetizing your data. So that becomes a concern. You don't have to register an account, but you won't be able to engage with me, which is what kills the purpose of being able to connect with me, because during live streams, you'll be able to live chat with me, and I'll be able to post your comments on the air, respond to them on the air. And that's kind of the thing I always wanted to do. So why didn't I do the live streaming before if I've been on YouTube for the longest time? That's where I started. So here's the thing. I didn't have time to live stream before. As a small business owner and operator of several businesses, actually, not to mention an independent contractor as a real estate broker and a property manager. And of course, I have my own family to tend to. And I'm also a published author, so I do write books and things. My time was already limited. But in the scope of things, I was really wanting to connect with a lot of you more. Some of you did the legwork and reached out to me to social media to connect or answer some questions, or I take the time to do a live stream to respond to the many of you that are leaving comments on my videos, and especially a lot more now. And I enjoy responding to those because I know the commenters are not the only ones that have those questions, and more people are going to want to hear the answers. And those of you that tune in live, I really appreciate you. But the thing is, when I did the Rumble partnership, I had a set schedule. I knew how long it was going to be. I already prepared for that because I had notice. And now that I'm not exclusive to Rumble, but I am still there, in streaming to everywhere else, it's been a little difficult trying to get a feel for when is the best time to stream, because ironically, whenever I try streaming at midnight, I have the most interactions, and that's like the worst time for me to stream because I'm supposed to be asleep because, hey, I have businesses to operate. But this is where it comes down to that I want to focus more on the live streaming aspect of things, and by extension, the tools that are finally available for me to be able to do this will allow me to also service my community over on Locals better. The limitations on live streamings have been lifted. I'm not limited to just 5 live streams a month anymore. I'm still capped at 30 minutes, but I'll be making better use of those 30 minutes this time, because now I can stream unlimited to Locals, which is something I'm looking forward to do. And if you follow me on social media, you already gotten the tease. I'm preparing to do accountability workouts. So work out with me. I'm not training you. I'm not teaching you. I'm making you keep me in check, or we keep each other in check. That's one of the aspects of things. And also the other shows that I do on Locals, which is a Locals exclusive. Go to locals.com, find my community, Andres Segovia Show, and you'll be able to sign up there for free. And I don't charge for anything, but if you want to support me there, you can. And well, when it comes to why I couldn't do the live streaming before, besides the fact that the tools didn't exist, is that the only place I had a home in was YouTube. And this is something that some of you don't know, especially for those of you that ask, hey, how much money do you make from a podcast? And I tell them there's no money in podcasting. That's really a hobby, and it really is. You got to invest a lot of money in tech. You got to invest a lot of money in the software. You got to invest all your time into this thing. And so unless you're going to shell out thousands of dollars like I did to develop a full-fledged operating website and creating all the graphics anew, that's expensive to get the graphic designers and the webmasters all lined up. And then the domains you got to pay for every single year, and the email services that come on top of that. It's not easy. And not to mention, in some cases, you got to get the security certificate for your website. So it's not like the whole, hey, this website could be harmful kind of thing. When Chrome does that, you got to pay for a security certificate, or else people will be too scared to use your website or be able to engage with it. So if you thought that podcasting was easy, well, technically it's easier than it's ever been. But if you're looking for that to be your bread and butter, I'm sorry, that's just not how it works. And of course, there are a lot of these big names that start podcasting and somehow they're viral within the first 5 minutes. Believe me, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with their PR, their agents, their whoever's the studio heads that make it happen. It's not legitimate. Looking at you, Brie Larson. Anywho, one of the things is, if you are just a user and you're uploading to YouTube, well, yeah, then great. There's a set of rules that you have to abide by, the terms of service and content moderation that YouTube does. But as soon as you partner with YouTube in their monetization program, because you qualified enough, in my case, they invited me, you get a different set of rules. And they're very vague, because not only can they change whenever, they can also be retroactive. I've talked about it this year where I had a ton of episodes suddenly demonetized that were, 2-3 years old. I'm like, why are they being demonetized now? And because the rule changes that went into effect this year. Yeah, but what does that have to do with my older episodes when they were okay then? So that's the thing about YouTube, where it's not a creator-friendly place. It has some of the best tools and, of course, the greatest integrations, because you have billions of people on the platform. But that's also the problem, that everybody just turns to YouTube. So the hottest thing on the market right now is Rumble, for a reason, because they are providing the tools for content creators to not just compete against YouTube, but also compete against the likes like Kick, DLive, and Twitch. For live streamers, gaming is off the charts right now on Rumble. And of course, people only think of Rumble as, oh, that's the right-wing free speech outlet and whatever. Say, no, it's not. And when I partnered with Rumble, I wasn't speaking to the choir. That's boring. I brought my own show over there and say, hey, you like what I do? Support me. And hundreds of people signed up to or subscribe to my channel there. I really like that. I was bringing something different to the platform, and I'm going to continue to do so. The difference is that I don't have to hold my tongue when I'm on Rumble. And they have been very good to me over on Rumble after they censored me like 3 or 4 years ago. So they really have come a long way. Chris Pavlansky has done a really good job in steering Rumble, and that's why there's all these governments that are upset at it, because they're like, hey, you got to shut these people up. And that's the price of freedom of speech. You just come under attack. But anyway, I don't want to make this thing longer than it has to be. Just letting you know that that's kind of what the feel has been lately, that I have been enjoying live streaming and being able to engage with the audience. I'm getting comments from LinkedIn, I get them from Twitch, mostly from Rumble, some of you on YouTube. I appreciate you all the same. Thank you so very much. I don't take any of you for granted. And until I'm no longer welcomed at YouTube, I'm going to remain on YouTube. It's my biggest audience, and I have 1.3 million views on that organically, and I couldn't monetize almost any of it. Thanks a lot, YouTube. But that's just it. Like, what does monetization mean? It just means that you'll be able to get some revenue off of the interactions and engagements on your content on YouTube. But when they say you violate it, well, guess what? YouTube still makes money off you. And people were telling me about the unplugged phone covers. Like, hey, I feel you should be getting a lot more views on all this stuff. It's like, this is something that I've been dealing with for a while. And I announced on a stream before I did this podcast that it looks like Google finally fixed the search on the Google's end, because now my unplugged phone review is one of the main hits now, finally. But that was after the damage was done, when thousands of other people were being led to other videos of newer videos, when my videos have been out weeks ahead of time because they were world exclusives of Unplugged. And anyway, I digress. At least that was remedied. But the thing is, when it's the hotness on the market, you want to be out in front to be able to cover these things. And they were just highlighting something that was considered to be older on my channel. And I welcomed it all the same, but people that were reacting to that video, some of them were getting upset at me because that's not what the phone is. And I had to tell them, it's like, hold on. It's almost Memorial Day. I posted this video back on March, and towards the end of April, I already covered some of the phone stuff. And I've done all these other videos that you haven't seen yet. And I wasn't judging anybody for not seeing them. I was just pointing out, like, here are the links to my interview with the CEO. Here's my links of the unboxing. Here's my links of my questions. Is it a honeypot? Here's my review of said device. And some of the people that were at first a little antagonistic towards me, because that's where Google led them to my first video, where it was pure skepticism about the device. They're like, oh, snap. You already covered all this stuff. Yes. And that's why some people are like, hey, man, just letting you know, I couldn't find your videos, but when I did find them, I noticed that YouTube is running ads on them. Yeah, that tends to happen. But Rumble has been really good to me this year. And I look forward to, if they ask me to be exclusive with them again, I might do so. But just letting you know that there are certain streams that I've wanted to do for the longest time, and one of them is very delayed, was my reaction to The Big Short, the film Entire. I can do that on Rumble. I cannot do that on YouTube. I'm not on Patreon, so you won't find me there, or Subscribestar. But Locals is my Patreon/Subscribestar, where you'll be able to find it after it goes up. But that's one way to be able to tell you that, hey, I prefer that you be on Rumble. You could even just bookmark the page if you don't want to create an account or whatever. It doesn't hurt to sign up. It's good to have an alternative, especially as we head into the election season. If you see the analytics on this side as a content creator, it's getting really, really ugly. And we are, in June? We still got 4 more months of this crap at least before, it just, whatever. I don't want to get into it anymore. But that's my long and short way of saying, wherever you might be watching, odds are I'm already there. But if YouTube is that place, then yes, I am on YouTube. Just know you're not getting the full experience. Podcast listeners, thank you for being faithful subscribers to the podcast. I am not putting everything, because I can't, on the podcast. So I encourage you, preferably Rumble, to follow me there, or other video platforms. Just turn on the notifications so you know whenever it is that I go live. I am testing the waters to see what works out best for the schedule, but I'm going to try for a Thursday day show, and hopefully by July I'll have this whole schedule worked out that works best for me, my family, and what I do for a living, because this is ultimately, at the end of the day, just a hobby. And how much does it pay? Next to nothing. Except what's that line at the end of the Prestige? You know why we did it? It was to see the look on their faces. I can't see your faces when you're commenting, but it's heartfelt when I get your thank yous. So just know I appreciate you all. Podcast, video watchers, wherever you might be watching, thank you so very much for making the Andres Segovia Show what it is today. Like, share, and subscribe to know. Follow me across the socials at the Andres Segovia. What does pay me whenever you support them, small businesses, American made, wherever possible, that would be my affiliates. The first one was Ranger Candy Coffee Company. And you can go to rangercandycoffee.com to buy your coffee. It's fresh roasted stuff, really good stuff. It's the official coffee of my office because I'm the boss. I made it so. But it's just really, really good coffee. And if you use my promo code DeAndreSegovia, you'll be able to save on your shipping on any order of any size. Now, when it comes to skincare, I've gone natural just over a year ago and it's done wonders for my skin. And my go-to preferred natural skincare is the Goat Farm. And for that, there's an affiliate link down below. For everything else about what coffee gear I use, what books I've written and published so far, or what gear, my tech gear, whatever I use for content creation or what I do for work, you'll be able to find those on my Amazon storefront, and any purchases from there, I'll be able to get some support. So you'll be able to keep me caffeinated and help keep the lights on whenever you use those links during the description down below. Thank you so very much. I'm Andres, and I'll see you on the next one.